Hi everyone, it's Nadine. We're going to be talking about the effective use of Chromebooks and really your Chromebook cart. I know that Mark went ahead and did the video for you about the management of the cart, but again we're going to be talking about how do we incorporate our best instructional practices with the Chromebooks. Alright, and now of course before we get to that we've got to get started. So you've already put the cart of Chromebooks in your room and you're saying, okay, now what? Now what do I do? So the first thing that you're going to do is turn it on, and then the students are going to sign in with their computer login username. After that, then they're going to notice as they start to type in their computer username, the @ftstudent.org will automatically pop up. Click Next, and then it's going to ask the student for their password. And again, their password is the same as the computer login password. Now, if you are in K-2, that password is books. That has not changed. All right? So then you're going to click Next, and then the student is ready to get started with the Chromebook. All right, so now I want to talk a little bit about basics and shortcuts, because these are going to be necessary because working on a Chromebook is different for everyone. So there is the possibility that you may want to print this slide out because this gives you kind of the anatomy of a Chromebook keyboard. So on this page it's going to tell you exactly what every button means. And it might not be a bad idea, you know, to display this for the students and actually go over it with them one of the first times that you check out the Chromebook cart. To have it in your classroom, or at least have it posted, you know, pull it up or have it printed out and have it posted in your classroom. Another thing that's going to be really helpful for you is that there are many different shortcuts of things to be able to do on a Chromebook. So again, this page is going to cover, you know, if you want to copy, paste, if you want to open your files, caps lock, and so on. So again, this sheet is going to be really helpful for you when students are using the Chromebook. And I can even tell you that I think it would be a great idea for you to open up a Chromebook and you to play around and mess with this because that's how you're going to get accustomed to it, and that way you can answer questions easily for students. This is a great handout as well because it's going to give you tips on how to use that touchpad that's down at the bottom. And I know a lot of people want to know how to do the right click, and so on there it says click the touchpad with 2 fingers or hold Alt while doing a single click. So that one they're probably going to be using quite a bit if you want to know how to drag and drop and so on. Again, this is going to be handy. I could even see this being like a 2-side page and something that maybe is laminated, like a set that is going with the cart, and then that way when you get ready to use the cart, then you can just pass a copy of this out to each student. No need to print a copy for every single classroom. My advice is to have this printed out and have it at the cart so that way everybody can use it. Okay? So let's talk about classroom management. I know a lot of teachers get worried about, oh great, everybody's on a device. How am I going to handle the classroom management of that? The best advice that I can give you is to get this 2 Eyes and 2 Feet app. It's really great. Okay, if you haven't figured it out by now, the 2 Eyes and 2 Feet app is basically you're going to have to get up and move constantly around the classroom. The best way for you to be able to know what the students are doing is you are constantly circling around the classroom while you're teaching. You know, and that's the best way that you can stay on top of that. You need to set ground expectations. You know, just because you get out that Chromebook doesn't mean that all the other expectations go away in your classroom. Be upfront with them and let them know that. You have got to let them get the giggles out. If you don't let the students get the giggles out whenever you try to introduce how to do something on the Chromebook, once you're in there in docs or in sheets, slides, whatever it is, give them an activity that's going to let them explore. Because if you don't, they're going to do it anyway, and you're going to be losing valuable instruction time. So you really need to set the stage by giving them an activity that lets them explore what tools are out there. And I'm starting to make things that I'll be sharing out with you that are activities to help them get those giggles out. Also know when to put the technology away. I also want to make sure that you understand that just because you can check out an entire cart doesn't mean that you need to use an entire cart. If you're doing literacy stations, math stations, anything like that, you could check out the cart for your whole grade level and then split it up, have 5 or 6 in one classroom, 5 or 6 in another classroom. Don't feel like that it has to be that you check out the entire thing. You can be effective both ways. Okay? Now, managing workflow, as you start to use more of the Google tools with students, you're going to start to realize that if students are sharing things to your Drive account, holy cow, you're going to be overwhelmed because you're going to start to be inundated. So teachers often ask, what can I do to help manage that workflow? The number one thing that I can tell you is use Google Classroom. You don't need to use it extensively, but it is absolutely a tool. It was created to help teachers with what I just said, to manage workflow. So if you set up a Google Classroom account, as you start to, share assignments or things with students, it's going to have a folder within your Google Drive that will say Google Classroom, and then everything that you assign students and they're sending back and forth will all go to that one file. If you're not using Google Classroom, then it starts to fill up your Drive account, and I'm just afraid that you're going to get extremely overwhelmed. Now, in this training, I'm not going to teach you how to set up Google Classroom and all of those things. You can set up a meeting with me if you're ready for that, and I can come out and meet with you individually. You can schedule a time for me to come out to your school, and I can come out and do a voluntary training in the morning for those of you that are ready to tackle Google Classroom. Also check around your building, because I have a feeling that there's probably someone in your building that's already started. And again, you don't need to do a ton with Google Classroom. You can start out very, very basic and just use it as that organizational piece. Okay? I do want you to remember, just like when I spoke to everybody about the iPads, using a Chromebook, I still want people to focus on creation and not consumption. So just like how I did with the iPad, I gave you suggestions on what can I do? What is it that I can do once the students are on a Chromebook? So on here, I have listed different apps. Now, just like how there is an app store with an iPad, there is the Chrome Web Store that is out there. And that's where teachers can add different Chrome apps. All right? You're going to notice this is actually a screenshot of what I have on my Google Chrome. All right? So these are all the apps that I have selected. So I have a link to Google Classroom. These are ones that I would recommend, but you don't need to start by using all of these. Start out small. If you don't remember my advice that I learned from Kristen Zemke, a giant presenter out there in the EdTech world, pick one app that you want to try in 9 weeks. So by the end of this year, you will get really good at 4 things. Okay? That's going to scale it back for you, because I don't want you to feel like that you need to know how to do all of this that you see pictured on there. So pick something out of this that you want to work on. Now, I am going to say that I do have a couple on here that are not creation, they are consumption. Raz Kids has an app. Epic. I know we have a lot of teachers in the district that are using Epic. It is on there as well. I'm not saying that you can't use those. I just want you to be conscious of every time I check out the Chromebook cart, am I only using Epic? Am I only using Raz Kids? Because I have to tell myself those are consumption. And while they are good, I also want you to make sure that you are focusing on creation. And that means that the students can create something. So use what's already out there. You've got Google Slides, Google Forms, Google Sheets, Google Docs, and Google Drawings. The 2 tools in Google that I would focus on with students would be Docs and Slides. But after meeting Alice Keeler over the summer, and I feel like she's the big Google guru, she said that she uses Google Slides for everything whenever she's working with students. If they're going to type an essay, something like that, then yes, Google Docs. But really for everything else, she keeps her students in Google Slides. So again, have me out, meet with me one-on-one, or have me lead a lesson with your students in the lab, even if you're not checking out the Chromebook cart, or maybe you do check out the cart and you say, I want Nadine in here when I'm trying to do this with my class. I'm more than happy to do that. I will make a lesson that I can do with you, or I can just do for the class, and you can watch how I run the lesson to get you accustomed to what does this look like. But you've got lots of different choices. Again, this was just an overview of what effective instruction looks like, and I gave you some basic setup for what to do. All right, so this is going to be the last slide of my presentation, and in just a little bit, then after you finish this video, you're going to take a short quiz, and trust me, we made it pretty easy, just things to indicate that you were watching the whole video. And then at the end of that, then you are going to find out if you passed. And we're basically making this like a completion so that you understand the basic tools, and then you are going to get a certificate saying that you are Chromebook Cart certified, and you can check out the cart anytime that you want. All right? Email me if you have questions, okay? Thanks.